Alright guys, we're going to be in the T100 LT for this one on Studs Yankee, and I love Studs, man. Studs are a really good map. I am running CVS, Bounty Optics, Bounty Illinois Exhaust, and also the optical calibration on this vehicle. This is a 9-10 game, and I'm going to be showing you a slightly different play. Maybe you do this, but it's not a play that I normally make. However, in the T100 LT at these higher tiers, man, you really want to use its gun effectively, I will say. The gun trolls me all the time, but it's like when you get a gun that does 300 damage a shot, you really want to start using this, right? Because the thing with... Let me say this, guys. The thing with going up the tiers is that the HP is not doubled at every tier, right? So what I mean by this is I only have 1500 HP in this vehicle, and FE 4005 can one-shot me. A Gorilla 15 can two-shot me. All these other vehicles that have these like 750 alpha guns, even the T30 and stuff like that, T95, all these guns can two-shot me. At the lower tiers, what you'll find, with the exception of some vehicles like Basoto hits really hard, SU100Y, like there's some vehicles at these mid-tiers that hit hard, but what you'll find is that you can usually, from a lot of vehicles, take like 3 or more shots and still be fine with your HP. At tier 10, it's like guns hit so freaking hard, man. Like, I'm pretty sure the 60 TP, right, the E100, I think both of these vehicles have like 750 alpha or something like that, or it's close to it. The FE215 B183 obviously hits really, really hard. The Minotauro hits really, really hard. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like, you have to be more careful the higher the tier is with your HP, right? Because damage per shot goes up quite a bit, but HP doesn't necessarily match it, right? So it's kind of hard for me to explain this in like very specific, proper terms, but that's just how I'll say it, right? I feel like tanks hit a lot harder at the higher tiers, and you really want to use that to your advantage. So what I'm going to do is use 300 alpha to my advantage, hit the 121B on his way in, and anyone else is going to rush here, I'm just going to put a shot into them, right? The CC is back here. He ends up turning his tank like at an angle, and I'm able to rip him apart. And you just want to do this, right? You want to put your gun where it's going to count. So CC hitting him for 298, backing up so I get unlit. Then I'm going to pull forward again and hit him again. And I'm just being really, really careful that someone is not sitting here, right? I should be able to spot them, but you just have to be careful of this, man. Like, if one of these tanks was going to pull through here and hit me, like, it would suck, right, man? But this is kind of the risk you take when you're trying to use your gun, right? So I'm going to pull through here again, trying to hit the CC. He's now kind of aiming at me. I'm still unlit, though. I should be because I'm behind a bush. Gonna hit him for 322, and look at that, guys. We're at 1183 damage already, and this is what I mean about, like, HP just doesn't really match the damage per shot the higher the tier you go, right? So the higher tiers, especially at tier 10, you need to use your gun, man, because it's really going to pay off, especially in a 9-10 game. Like, if you're hitting 9s, you're going to make a big difference with 300 alpha, even compared to 240 that, like, say, the Lynx has, or the lightweight, I think, has 250 at tier 9, right? 300 is, like, big, man. Can you imagine that? Like, if you hit someone twice, you're already doing 100 more damage than you would do to them in a T54 lightweight, right? So just always keep this in mind at the higher tiers, guys. Like, damage is going to be more and more important, in my opinion, the higher up you go in the tiers. So I'm going to always use my gun where I can use it safely, and I think we did everything really, really well in this game. Eventually, I'm now going to go to spotting because we absolutely stomped the south, and I want to get into this bush line here and try and start spotting for my team. So eventually you're going to see me advance here. We're just constantly poking shots here. I'll kind of go through this on the free replay camera so you don't get dizzy or anything, but I'm just pulling up, taking shots as people are pushing in, right? And eventually I'm going to get a little more aggressive, push up into this bush because I like to start spotting for the team. The AMX 13105 or whoever, I guess it was a lightweight, was doing a pretty good job of countering this. I think he ends up appearing here. My guess was that he was like in this area, but he actually is over here. sitting in this bush, but he can still counter it well. And then we're going to poke up, hit the IS-4, right? And we're just constantly trying to use our gun, right? And also use the view range because we're getting pretty close now via the ridge line. And eventually I'm just going to push in. T-54 ends up appearing now. I'm like, let me get a shot into this guy and reset myself one more time. And then we're going to go in. 60 TP is still over here. E100 is still over here. I'm going to take a slightly more passive approach and just, you know, come around this way instead of running right in front of these guys. And then I'm going to jump down, and we have the 13105, we have the WZ111 GFT here. Let's see if I can get a shot into the 105. Eventually I hit this guy in the move, if I remember correctly. I think this one hits, and then I take one more into him, and that one misses. So we're going to try and hit this guy in the move here. That one just misses. It was kind of a hard shot. I didn't aim it super well, but sometimes it's tricky when you're on the move and the reticle is like moving. And then we're going to actually get the cleanup kill on the 60 TP. There were like 5 other dudes here, and no one was reloaded in time, I guess. We're able to get that shot, and I slide in next to all these guys like it's some like show, right? Like I just slide in here, man, take this cleanup shot like I'm showing off, man, in front of all these boys. And that's the game. It was really, really fast, guys. But again, the point of this video is to show you that at these higher tiers, you really, really, really want to try and use your gun, man. Right? You really, really, really want to try and use your gun. Because, for example, right, I can do 60 more damage a shot. The T-54 lightweight has 1340 HP. The T-100 LT has 1500. That's a difference of 160 HP, right? It's really not that much, but the gun is doing another 50 damage a shot. So, like, it's just the way they work, man. Like, HP and damage per shot, in my opinion, do not correlate perfectly by any means, right? Obviously, as you go up the tiers, the damage per shot on most tanks goes up and the HP goes up, but I just feel like the damage per shot goes up, like, drastically. Once you get to like tier 8, tier 9, you have these ISUs hitting for 750 alpha. You have T-30s hitting for 750 alpha. You have heavy tanks at tier 10 now hitting for like 700, 750 alpha, whatever. I don't really play heavies much, but I know some of them hit really, really hard. I'm pretty sure the super heavies hit for like 750 alpha. Then you have the FV4005. You have the FV183, right? You have all these big guns like Gorilla 15. You have the Jagdpanzer E100. You have all these monstrous guns at this tier, man, at tier 10 and even some tier 9s and even some tier 8s, right, that just hit so freaking hard and it just doesn't really correlate, right? You have 1500 HP in the T-54 lightweight. You have 2 guns, arguably the 183 and the FE4005 that I know about, that can one-shot you, and then you have multiple tanks that can 2-shot you, right? And it's just, it's so dangerous, right? Like, this tier is so dangerous that you really, really want to play, you want to play safe, but you have to do damage, man. Like, damage just becomes, in my opinion, so much more important as you get up to this tier level. Like, you have 300 damage a shell, guys. Try not to be as passive as you would be at like tier 5 or tier 6 or even tier 7, right? Because you're going to be able to make a big difference hitting for 300 a shot at this tier. So that's all I really wanted to emphasize in this video and point out to you guys. Don't be afraid to use your gun in these vehicles. The mana core hits really hard too. That's all. I thought it was a pretty good game. Obviously, I don't think we needed to be in this game to win it. We stomped this team, but I was having a really good time pushing in with this very aggressive team. We did 3299 damage, 1969 assists. And what else do we have here, man? We were actually top by experience, it looks like. Certainly not top by damage. Again, look at all these monstrous tanks. Like the E5, man, the CC is also very, very powerful. The 121B is a monster of a tank. Like, these things are going to be doing the damage. The T95 actually only did 1300 damage. I'm kind of surprised. The WZ111G had 4K, and these are like not even big numbers at this tier, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, when you see people doing a few thousand damage at these tiers, it's not even that exciting or surprising at all, right? If you see it at tier 6 or something, you're like, wow, this dude did 3299 damage, but at tier 10 it's like, oh nice, our 100 LT did 3299 damage. Like, even the light tanks, it's like, cool, he did this amount of damage. Like, unless you're seeing numbers like 6k plus, it's like not that exciting, right? Their enemy FV215B 183 actually did no damage, which is even more surprising. And there you go, guys. I'll let you guys go after we take a quick look at this detailed report. Again, here's my crew pretty stacked for the T100 LT. I pulled these three girls out of the Object 2A3. I believe I said this in the session that I did in the T100 LT. So we retrained them, and yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to be running some pretty hefty equipment, I'll call it, at this tier. We are running the bounty equipment and all, and that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed. Hope it helps you out. Catch you for the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye now.